Hi guys, so today we're going to be using an image and tracing it with some of the drawing tools in Illustrator to create a puzzle that will laser cut. So let's get started. We're going to make a new file. Just like we did in class, we're going to make it 12 by 12 inches, and that's going to be our artboard size, Command minus. If you're not on the window workspace Essentials Classic, please make sure you are so you can follow along. I'm going to reset mine so everything is out of the way here. We're going to start by getting an image, and I've provided this for you. It's just a giraffe image with the patterns on the inside. So you're going to go to File, Place, find that giraffe image, and then hit Place, and then click, and we're going to go ahead and fill up our 12 by 12 inch artboard so that this giraffe does not live on the outside of the artboard, but kind of inside, something like that. Now, we've brought this in, as you can see the blue X here. That is because we are on, I'm going to open up this little double diamond here to open up our layers palette. And you can see we're on the blue layer, and that's where our image is selected. So if you turn that layer off and on, you'll see that that draft goes away. What we're going to do is we're going to click on that image here and go to our properties panel, change our opacity to about 40 so that we can kind of see through the giraffe, but it's not too dominant. And then because it's on our layer here, we're going to lock this layer by clicking this little area next to the eyeball, which locks the layer so that at this point we cannot draw on this layer or even modify it at all. So that's going to be our step number one, just like in class. We're going to hit this little plus button to make a new layer, and that's going to be the layer that is our drawing layer. So I'll just type drawing, and I'm going to make sure I've selected it. If you're on this layer, you won't be able to do anything because it's locked. So we're going to be on our drawing layer to do this project. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to trace the outline of the entire giraffe using the pencil tool. So N for pencil. I don't know why that's the shortcut, but we're going to use the pencil tool. I'm going to double click the pencil tool, and I'm going to change a couple of the settings. By default, you should have 6 for the number of pixels that you need to be within in order for the pencil tool to work. And you know, I'm just going to show you this, that if you start drawing a line with the pencil tool and you stop, you can continue that line just by getting really close to the end and then continuing it on. And then when you're close to the B where you started, you'll notice that the little circle turns white on the pencil tool, and that'll actually create a closed shape. We are going to change the settings here so that instead of it being 6, we're going to go up to 15 because this is a really large piece and you might need to have a little bit of more leeway for when you want to have that path continue. You can also increase the smoothness if you're not using a drawing tablet, or even if you are, it'll just smooth everything out. And then closing the path, we can bring this up to 20 as well. And so we're going to work with these settings. So I'm going to start by outlining the giraffe using the pencil tool, and I'm going to Command ++ and use the spacebar key to move around the space. And then I'm going to start with my drawing. My stroke is set to 1 and my fill is set to clear. And I'm just going to start somewhere probably up here on the giraffe. I'm using a Wacom tablet, but you can kind of see if you make a mistake, stop and then go back, and you're able to like continue just outlining this giraffe. And the idea is if you make a mistake, stop and then just fix it before you move on. Be careful because you don't want to start the path like over here and then you'll have multiple paths. And you can kind of see that I've done that. I'm going to undo that once, but you can see here that my path has a little bit of a blip, as you can see. I'm just going to minus this out. There we go. But you can see right here, there's a little path blip. So be careful of those. You can get rid of those, but they're just a pain. So actually, if you find that you do have like a little blip like this, you can just smooth it out by going over it from here to here or something like that. Anyway, we're zoomed in pretty well, and this is what you might want to do for your project as well. And remember, we're just starting where we left off here, and we're going in the right direction. Don't go backwards because that'll it won't do what you want it to do. But again, we're trying to stay as close to the curve as possible of this giraffe outline, And since it will be a puzzle, we're not as worried, but you can see what happens here when I make a mistake. So just undo, go back, and then, and be careful here, that just destroyed the entire path. So you want to definitely keep an eye on what you're doing if you're doing something over. Okay, I'll speed this up and we should have an outline in a moment here. Okay, so we're back and now we've closed in our path. You might want to save it at this point. We're going to save ours as giraffe. Go ahead and save it. And then what we're going to do is continue on by creating an outer square, and then we're going to create various shapes on the inside that actually will pertain to the idea of the puzzle piece. You'll notice I missed an area here, but I'll go ahead and take care of that. So the next step was to create a rectangle that surrounds the entire piece and holds our artboard in place, so something like that. And now our time is, now what we're going to be doing is using our pencil tool again, and we are going to be maybe using some of these lines to help us create some interesting shapes on the interior of the giraffe, as well as create some shapes on the exterior. And the idea is for us to break this up into pieces that can be then laser cut and then put back together. So something like that might be interesting, or something like this could be interesting. Maybe something like this might be interesting. And the idea is, let me just do another one here. I'm trying to incorporate some of these elements to interlock the pieces. So if you find that you need another one, like for instance here, you can always go into the path and then just draw into the path like this to reshape the path, as long as the path is selected. If you need to reselect the path, go to your selection tool, select the path, and then go back to your drawing tool, and that'll allow you to draw, continue drawing the path. And be careful, because it does matter which direction you draw. And if you can't, for whatever reason, so in this case it's drawing from left to right, but if you do something like this, you'll see it actually breaks the path. So at that point you might want to do a different technique. But for this thing, I'll just probably make a curve that goes like this, and that'll allow me to break these guys up into different shapes. Something like that, maybe like with, I'll just take care of that afterwards. If you're just breaking it up into shapes, you could just do that first. And don't worry about the overlap here. As long as these shapes are distinct, this will work just fine. But try to incorporate some of the imagery that you see here into your shapes. If you need to change anything, use the curve tool, and that'll allow you to select different parts of the path you just made and modify them. So whatever shape you're working on. So if you want to work on this shape, curvature tool will allow you to open these up or change your path so that maybe you want to do something different on that path after all, like something like this. And you can do this after the fact, which is really nice. You can even add your divots in like this. So again, curvature tool is very nice. Hit escape if you have that line that you don't want it anymore. And again, you can walk in, you can just modify these curves after the fact. Okay, go back, and I'm going to go ahead and break this this giraffe up into various pieces, and then I'll show you the next step of the process. Okay, so at this point I've broken up the interior of the space into several pieces, and if I select all, Command A, and I go to my Path Finder Shape Builder tool, you'll notice that each of these paths is its own little shape. And if you've done everything correctly and the paths are solid and there's a nice overlap, you should be able to easily clean up all these little stringy things inside of here. And the way you do that, I'll just zoom in so you can see, is you're going to take the shape builder tool, you're going to select this, and for instance, I may want to combine these two, so I'll just draw across these, for instance. This one I want by itself, so I just click it. I just click this one. Maybe I want to add something here, so I can hit the letter N button, so I can go back and make a shape here, and then go back to my shape builder tool, select all, and Command A, and now I can click these areas. I can click the outside area. If anything is a weird overlap like you see it here, I can just shape build that together. So I'll click this, I'll click this, I click this, I click this. I'll shape build this away just by drawing across it. And then I'll click the background. Now the nice thing is once you've clicked the background and all these other shapes, you have to actually click in each one of them in order for them to become shapes. Otherwise this piece will not be cut. Every time you click on here, it cuts these like things. So if you haven't clicked here and you try to select this thing, it'll select this whole long thing. But if you click here just to select it and click here, it'll get rid of all that stuff on the outside. And then you click on the outside last, and we're going to finish the outside as well. You can now use the selection tool. I'm just going to click away to deselect, and you can see I can select each of these little divots here with my selection tool so that I can get rid of anything that doesn't overlap correctly. And be careful, because the stuff that's really small still is problematic. So you're just going to go through and clean up the inside of the giraffe at this point, along with the outside. And then we'll do this one more time, but we're going to do it with the outside as part of our process. So I'm just going to speed this up, and I'll see you on the other side of this interior cleanup. Okay, we're back, and now I've got my drawing cleaned up. I'm going to turn off the giraffe drawing, and you can see what we've got so far. Now, you can always add additional shapes to this by just creating the shape. I'm going to use the N key here. And so say you wanted to just add some additional divots. Let's draw one that's kind of nice here. There, something like that. You can take this and you can then just add it to your shape here. But I'm going to rotate this a little bit and just kind of move it here and just copy it and then paste it. And then I can use that again for another place. Let's rotate it again. And then maybe move it right here. You just kind of go in and then add these in so that these pieces are more connected, so there's nothing loose like this one. I'll just copy it and paste this one over here and put that here, rotate it a little bit. I should not have made this so wide. But then what you'll do is select all again, Command A, go back to your shape builder tool, right? And then what you'll do is you just clean these areas up that you've just made so that it becomes just part of the piece specifically. So like in this case, we're just going to do this, being careful. Let's see what I did here. We have something that's not quite. I'm going to undo this a couple times. So this part needs to be turned into a shape, and this should be a shape. And once you're done with that, again, you go through and just get rid of the little pieces that are stragglers, just like we did before. So take some time and go through your giraffe piece at this point. You can see how you can spend a little bit of time to get something a little bit more interconnected so that these pieces are not loose. At that point, what you're going to do is, I think I have my square on the outside here. You're going to do a similar thing, but you're going to do it to the outside. Oh, one last thing, I probably will try to incorporate some type of landscape look. I could bring in another image and put it underneath here so that it could look like it's in the landscape, and I could use that as my basis for my puzzle. But I'm just going to do it by eye, making a horizon line and just kind of working with that. So Okay, so you can see I have quite a bit of cleanup work here, and you're gonna, for the outside, you're gonna hold down the Option key in case you have any solid paths. But for the inside areas, you're going to, again, hope that you're just going to use that shape builder to construct the shapes the same way that we did in class, taking your time to create something that you feel is kind of where you were hoping to go. And make sure you find all the little paths. Anything that's straggler like this, you will definitely be able to get with the selection tool, but sometimes it's easier to get it ahead of time. If you see large blocks, try to break them up, something like this. And if you've gone over on the interior of your space, you'll definitely want to make sure that you go back and remove any of the stragglers. You might have to reselect these shapes again in order to get rid of the lines that you created in the first place. So if you've made a line that was not on the initial shape and it cuts through your shape, like this line right here, you will have to go back and put that thing back out, or get that back out. So something you'd think about, just like this little shape here. Sometimes it actually adds something interesting to your original design, but for the most part it probably shouldn't. So you'll want to remove that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and use my selection tool and start cleaning things up. You'll notice that if you do accidentally select a line, that means that something is not shape built all the way through. So go back to your shape builder and try to make sure that this is in fact a complete shape. You'll see that when we zoom in here, we've got some issues here. So again, we'll just go ahead and select our areas that we want to build the shape for. It should, if it, again, only if it's not, if it's selecting lines that are, should not be, that should just be pieces at this point. And remember, you've got to click on each one of these elements here in order for the shape builder to work for these, even though they don't seem like you need to do anything to them. So I'm shape building the inside here. Get rid of this little guy. Take your time here. Miss this piece. I'm going to select this and then this one, and then this one. And I'm going to select this one.
Hey guys, so we're back now. Took a break, fixed all the little pieces. We still have a little bit more to go. I just wanted to show you how to really clean up things and make sure everything is good before the final process here. So I'm going to just select all, Command A. And you can see everything is selected. I'm going to increase the stroke size just a little bit, just so you can see that there might be some issues where you see things are a little bit denser or have some weird things going on. Sometimes this helps to see things. I'm going to bring the stroke back down to 1. We already see here and here there are a couple of issues, so let's go ahead and fix those. Everything is still selected, and you can see this area right here just needs more path shape building. So I'm going to just go across here, go across here, and go across here, and get rid of this. Select the V tool, and then just select this little guy and hit the delete button. And we also saw something here. Select all, and you can see that's just a double path. So shape builder again, and we're getting rid of these small little things just so they don't double cut on the laser. I noticed this little area here, and it doesn't look like there's a problem, but it does look like this is not a cut that we should make. One possibility is to use a curvature tool and try to modify this curve somehow. But you can see that there is some type of overlap and double curve here. So instead of doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the minus button on the keyboard, which opens up the delete anchor points, and we're going to be deleting a couple of these. So we're going to delete that one, we're going to delete that one, we're going to delete that one. Oop, that's not an anchor point. Delete that one, and we'll delete that one until things are smooth. We're just hit select all, just so we can see. Command A allows us to see all the points here. We're going to delete that one and that one. At this point, we're going to select all, Command A again, and you can see it created like a double line, so Shape Builder should be able to fix that, and now that gets rid of that weird area that we had. You have to shape build all the points that surround everything. Just make sure you click on all of them without doing anything. Even if it doesn't seem like it's doing something, it's actually building the shape just by clicking on it. So something like this as well, you can see you can remove this point right here. I could even use the minus button here and just select that point, delete it, select all again, and there were 2 points there. That makes it smoother here. You can continue if you want to delete more points, but I'm pretty happy with that. And then select all and make sure you shape build all 3 sides here. So you'll want to go through and check things to make sure that there's not too many outrageous areas. Finally, in the class, we talked about, I'm going to select the rectangle tool here, double click and put 2 by 2 inches. We're going to fill that with white or gray or something. I'm going to put this off to the side of the artboard just so you can see it. And then we're going to do the same thing for this smaller rectangle. Just click in the space someplace, double click and 0.25 by 0.25. So we said that this size should be the smallest any piece is. So if you have a tiny little piece, make sure that it's bigger than this guy, and that is 1/4 by 1/4 inch. Or actually, we said the smallest piece should be 1 inch by 1 inch, which is about this size. And you can see most of my pieces are bigger than 1 inch by 1 inch. But we said the maximum size would be about 2 inches by 2 inches. So when I select all and use the Shape Builder tool, you can see that there are some pieces that definitely have more than 2 square inches of area in them. And so what you're going to want to do, just like we did before, just go ahead and use the pencil tool. I put it on smooth. This time I'm going to deselect just by hitting the V button and then going to the pencil tool, and then creating some type of cut using the pencil tool that breaks the piece into a couple pieces. So in this case, I broke it. Select all, go back to Shape Builder, and in this case, again, everywhere that cut cuts, you should click on 1, 2, 3, 4, because that touches all of them. And at this point, you should be able to remove these little tails. And now we've got a piece, if I go back to Shape Builder, that fits under that rule. The same thing here, you might want to figure out how you want to cut that to make sense. So just using, again, the pencil tool, maybe starting here, doing something like this. Well, let me just make sure that the things overlap. So with my mouse, and then selecting the Shape Builder tool after selecting everything, 1, 2, 3, and 4, because it touches all 4 of those, and then going and deleting these areas. And you can continue doing this until your puzzle is to your liking. We are now ready to get this ready for laser cutting. So what we're going to do is select the entire thing. Everything is good. We have an outline. We have all our lines. They seem to be cleaned up quite well. And we will go to our Pathfinder window. And our Pathfinder, we will use this outline, and we'll hit it once. When we do that and click away, you'll notice that all of the outlines disappear. That's because their stroke turned invisible. You can turn the stroke back on by selecting one point, and you'll see it again. And we're going to do this one more time. We're just going to select everything, and we'll do it Pathfinder a second time, just to be sure that everything is ready for for the laser cutter. And then we're going to turn the stroke back on, maybe higher than 0.5, like 0.1 or 1 point there. I notice there's this little thing right here. I'm going to delete. Notice that when you do create that outline, you can't modify these things too much. You can kind of go into them by double clicking into the group, but everything here should be now a single line. There shouldn't be a double line. And just to prove that, I'm going to go to Edit or Object, Ungroup. So everything is now ungrouped, and so you can see that I can select these lines, and if you move these lines after you select them, and then undo, obviously. But if you move these paths like this, you'll see nothing under it. If you select one and you move it, there should be nothing underneath, and that's good because there's not a path here and then another path here. We want that laser cutter to only cut one time, and so that should give you a path that is clean and ready for laser cutting. And you can see I'm just testing to make sure everything is in fact just that single path. At this point, you should be able to submit this to be laser cut. And again, it is 12 by 12 inches. As you can see, Command R to bring the rulers up. Okay, submit this, and look forward to seeing what you guys do for this project.